Yes, today we are going to discuss about the Sharia law in Islam. Enjoy.
Panapa tichida kuita Sharia law ndizoka saka Sharia it is the Arabic word for Islamic law, also known as the law of Allah. That is what we call the Sharia law. Mutemo wa Mwari. So Islam classically draws no distinction between religious and secular life, which means in Islam the way you live at home and the way you live even under the influence of the church or under the influence of whatsoever chini related nekuchurch nemararamira unoita kumba hazvifani kunge zvakaita sei zvakasiyana. So hence Sharia law it caters not only for religious rituals, but it can also caters for your behavior, even your private life. Uri one unokwanisa kunge uchitoshandisa the Sharia law. So linguistically, the Sharia means the way. Saka chinongonzi Sharia law, it means the right path. Kana kuti nzira yakanaka. Ndo zvinoreva kuti Sharia law. So tiri ipapo, technically it refers to the sacred law of Islam. It is the sacred law of Islam whereby each and every member in Islamic society is deemed to follow it. Above all, the Sharia is the holy law of Islam, which means everyone, for him or for her to be holy, the person must follow the Sharia law. Also, it is based on 600 or more verses of the Quran. So Sharia law yakagadzirwa nemavhesi akatorwa muQuran. Taurirana saka kureva kuti there are certain verses arimo imomo akatorwa Sharia law achibatanidzwa ichigadzirwa muchana. It is based on the laws of the Quran and the hadith of Prophet Muhammad. So it is yadaro futi they also include different traditions of the law avanoshandisa imomo. So the authority of the Sharia is divine because it is based on Quranic teachings, which means vanhu vanobheliva kuti mitemo iri muSharia law iri sacred nekuti yakabva pai muQuran. Allah is also the sole legislator, kureva kuti Mwari ndo munhu anobhelievwa kuti he was part and parcel of the making of the Sharia law. So the Sharia law is divine, as we have discussed earlier. It is divine in nature. So it is immutable, which means no one can dissolve it, no one can remove this law. And so the Sharia is seen as infallible because it comes from infallible sources, which means Quran chinhu chavanobhelievha kuti chinhu chiri correct. Hakuna munhu anokwanisa kupikisa kuti Quran harisi correct. Taurirana. So the Muslims, they interpret the Sharia as the straight path for them to follow. So history and background of it, the Sharia is an Arabic word meaning the right path, which refers to the tradition of the Islamic law. Also, the Sharia comes from the Quran, the sacred book of Islam. That is where it was derived from. So the Sharia also stems from Prophet Muhammad's teachings and interpretations of his teachings. Muslims believe that Allah revealed his true will to Prophet Muhammad, who then take that Allah's will and reveal it to humanity. Are we together? So, between the 7th century when Prophet Muhammad died and the 10th century, many Islamic scholars, they attempted to redissolve those issues of the Sharia law in order to suit the new coming generation. So in the modern era, the influence of westernization or western colonization or European imperialism or globalization have affected some sections of the Sharia, and they've decided to dissolve them. So during his lifetime, Muhammad helped to clarify the law by interpreting the provisions in the Sharia. He used to interpret to people the laws and the rules and regulations. So what does the Sharia law reveal? The Sharia is divided into two main sections. It has got two main sections, that is the acts of worship and how people interact with each other. So to Sharia law, how can you worship God? For example, it includes ritual purification, prayers, fastings, charities and pilgrimage to Mecca. It's a part and parcel of the Sharia law. Then, in terms of human interaction, it includes how people transact finances, how people practice endowments, how people laws of inheritance, marriage, divorce and child care, foods and drinks, penalty punishments, warfare and peace, how it is being conducted. As a legal system, the Sharia law is exceptionally broad. While other legal codes regulate public behavior, the Sharia law regulates public and private behavior to an individual. So according to the Sharia law, theft is punishable by amputation of hands. According to Quran chapter 5 verse 38. Criticizing or denying any part of the Quran is punishable by death if you criticize the Quran. Also, criticizing Muhammad or denying that he is a prophet, it is also punishable by death. Above all, a Muslim who become a non-Muslim, you will be punishable again by death. A non-Muslim who leads a Muslim away from Islam is punishable by death. Kuroti iwewe uningori non-Muslim pamori Christian obva wanoda kunofurira Muslim kuti asiye ukabatwa unouraiwa. Testimonies of 4 male members are required to prove allegiance of rape. Kuroti hanzi iwewe kana warepwa unofanira kutsvaga varume 4 because ivo vanobhiliva kuti hakuna mukadzi anofanira kunge ari private place nemunhu asiri hama yake kana asiri murume wake. Saka iwo kana muchiti makarepwa muri 2, nyaya inenge yatopera. Tawirirana. A woman who testified an accusation of rape to a man. If a man akabvuma kuroora mukadzi yeye, murume wacho asungwe. A male convicted of rape can his conviction dissolved by marrying his victim. Muslim men have sexual rights to any woman who does not wear a hijab. Kana chiti munhu asina kupfeka hijab, tikuti zvezvo vanopfeka zvavo, ukatoonekwa usina kudaro wakadididi wakatoshama, you are alleged to rape. Then a man can marry up to 4 wives. Ndizoka, and tiri ipapo, girls' clitoris should be cut out. Also, a man can beat his wife for insubordination. Andika kungo saiza. Also, a man can unilaterally divorce his wife. A wife needs a husband concern kuti arambe mukadzi, asi murume arambe murume, sorry, asi murume anokwanisa kuramba mukadzi wake zvisina kana any problem. A woman's testimony in court is, in terms of property, it carries half weight than that of a man. Koroti mukadzi zvinhu zvaanotaura kukoti havanyanyi kuzvibhiliva. Tawirirana. Then a woman cannot speak alone to a man who is not her relative or her husband. Meat to eat must come from animals that have been sacrificed to Allah. Which means if someone wanted, kana munhu achida kuuraya nyama, kana ada kuuraya mombe kana huku, vanoshandisa inonzi halal society, kana kuti ameno marituals avanoita. Muslims are subjective to preach wrong or to have false allegations to non-Muslim kuti vatendeuke vachechi kwavo. Muslims should engage in such practices as a form of their evangelism. So this is the Sharia law. Saka chazoya tichita inonzi chi the Islamic religion. Anditi ka? Tona udzacho.